word of the week is...
democracy!
The definition of democracy is the belief in freedom and equality between the people, or a system of government based on this belief.
This means that people gave a say or a vote on how they want the country or place to run.
The reason for democracy being our word of the week is because of the 15th of September is the International Day of Democracy. International Day of Democracy is celebrated nationally on the 15th of September.
It's a chance to review the state of democracy around the world, encourage democracy and voting.
It began in 2007 and each year the event centres around different themes. In 2022, the theme was using democracy to stop wars and conflict.
What is democracy?
Have you heard of democracy? What is it?
Democracy is when people have a say on how they want their country run. And it lets us elect someone who's called a Prime Minister, and the leader decides on important policies.
Well, the word democracy means rule by the people, meaning each of us have a say in how our country is run. We do this by voting in elections for people in different political parties. Elections take place all over the country, and we vote for someone in these parties to represent us in Parliament. The party with the most elected members will form the UK government. Although in this country we have a monarch, another word for king or queen, the UK government is led by the Prime Minister and they are in charge. What do you think members of Parliament help to do?
They listen to their town's ideas and then they represent them in the Houses of Parliament. MPs help us and support our ideas to get them to the government to make them into rules.
They ask questions and ask for changes to be made.
MPs do lots of different things, from answering questions to debating and voting on UK laws to protect us. Why do you think it's important for us to have a democracy?
It's important for people to have a say on who their leaders should be. It gives us a freedom of speech.
It can bring about change in lots of areas that can affect everyday people.
Helps things to be fair, and so we have equality.
It lets us make and change laws that protect us from harm. People can vote.
Being able to vote is a key part of democracy. Voting is a way to have your say on things that matter to you, and it means that everyone can be involved in important decision making. Can you think of a time that you voted?
We vote on what our treats should be spent on, what movie to watch. I voted for farm captain. We have to choose someone who we think will be sensible. I voted for the student voice in our school so that I can have a school which is happier and nicer.
Having democracy means we can all play a part in how our country is run and have a say in the things that affect us. What things are important to you, either in your local community or country as a whole? It's never too early to get involved and have a say.
Democracy is a system of the government where representatives are voted into office by the people. In true democracies, citizens can take an active role in their government and hold them to account by voting them out.
Democracy is linked to human rights and aims to ensure that everyone in the society is represented.
Regardless of skin colour, religion, ability, or a wide range of other, democracy should ensure that governments protect their people.
Democracy is important because it is one of our British values. We have 5 values that prepare us all for life in modern Britain today.
These are democracy, tolerance, respect, individual liberty and rule of law. Democracy being one of these words that show how important this word is.
Why is International Day of Democracy important?
International Day of Democracy is an opportunity to assess issues like human rights, equality and conflict resolution. Throughout the world, it's a change to reflect on our own freedoms and think about those who are less fortunate than us.
It encourages action and motivates people to work collectively for a fairer and more representative government.
What does democracy mean to you?
That's a very difficult question to answer, I think, Richard. To me, I think democracy means that everyone has a say and that there's not one person in charge, but that everyone has power, and so everyone has the power to make a difference. So we can use the virtues that we learn about in St. Joseph's out in the wider world and in our community, and we know that we've got the power to make the difference for somebody else.
How does democracy impact your life?
I try really hard to let democracy impact my life, Richard, because in my role as head teacher, if I didn't value democracy, then perhaps I would make all of the decisions for everybody else. I would just think, no, I'm in charge, I'm going to make all the decisions. But actually I think it's really important in my role to demonstrate democracy and ensure that everybody gets that say. Everybody has the say to make changes to make our school the best place it can be, because it's not just my school, it belongs to everybody. And actually it's really important to listen to everybody's point of view and for everyone to feel that they can make a difference and that their voice is heard. So if they think something's unfair, or they think something's unsafe, or they think something can make our school even better, we celebrate that democracy in school of making sure that everyone has that power and everyone has that voice and are able then to make those changes and make it the best place it can possibly be.
What does democracy mean to you?
Democracy means to me when you vote for something.
How does democracy impact your life?
By treating others fairly.
This week's scripture is from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 5 verse 9. Happy are those who work for peace. God will call them his children.
How does this scripture link to the word democracy?
This piece of scripture is telling us that if we work for democracy by promoting peace and harmony, God will be pleased with us and call us his children.
If we trust in God and help us make the right decisions, then we can create a better tomorrow by practicing democracy today.
To reflect on the word this week, we would like you to pray the God's Children prayer. You will need an outline of a person and something to write with. Look at your person outline and then compare it with the person's next to you. Look at how their person is different, just like we are all different from each other. Think about how these differences do not matter and how we are all equal and God's children. In your outline, write down any ideas of how you can promote democracy in your lives. This could be things like listening to others, treating others fairly, sharing with those in need. When you have done this, place your outlines in a circle around a picture of the world in the middle to represent democracy around the world and show how we are all God's children promoting democracy.
This links to our mission statement, as by trusting in God, we can have faith in our democracy to make the right choices.
This will help us to have a better tomorrow, as our democracy will create a better today.
Your mission this week is to make sure that you use democracy as much as you can in your lives. For example, when settling disputes between you and your friends.